Okay, so welcome everyone. Thank you for coming today. I was really looking forward to starting our class with you guys today because I have a couple of announcements. I have posted these announcements on the community. Let me just grab that link real quick. Okay, so the first announcement, I'm sure you guys, if you follow my channel, you know I've released my brushes. To watch a video on the brushes, just go to my channel and look at my video before this one. And I cover pretty much what all of the, why did I put a number and colon and exclamation mark? So stupid of me. But yes, wow, what the hell is this? Announcement, colon exclamation mark. Okay, so by the end of today, I'm going to be posting a poll. I rounded down all the suggestions made, and I will be posting the poll tonight. So if you guys want to be a part of the next challenge, make sure that you get yourselves involved in this vote. If you're going to be participating in the challenge, if you're going to be uploading stuff for rewards and stuff like that, please be a part of the poll. The poll will go up, and I'll announce it once it goes up as well. But let me read through this. A poll will go up sometime soon for the next challenge. Your options will be comprised of the suggestions that you made at the end of Critique Hour some weeks ago. They will run for 2 to 3 weeks, after which a topic for the challenge will be chosen. A week or so after that, the resource pack will go up, and from there you'll have a little over 3 weeks to complete submission for the challenge. Did I spell that right? This one will be a big one. As the best notes taken for that class, as you remember, I reward note takers, not people who submit work. They just get the critique, but people who write the best notes get rewarded either Portrait Studio or all 3 brush sets. Or if the notes are so well done, I'm giving all of this stuff to the winner. Portrait Studio, another announcement. Portrait Studio is going to be completely updated. So the models that you've come to love, that we all see in Portrait Studio, are going to be replaced completely. We're constantly working on these models, just because they, I don't know, we get these weird shadow problems in Unity when we're running the engine, and we get it doesn't look clean. The shadows don't look clean, so we've been constantly working on that recently to get that fixed. I think that's it for announcements. I'm just going to go ahead and get started on our critique. Today, it's a quest. All right, let's get started. Okay, so I was looking at this piece, and something about it was bothering me. But it's just such a wonderfully done piece. There are a couple of things that are throwing me off, especially when I look at the navigator. So I'm going to go into Liquify real quick and sort that out. This image is too big. Image size. What are you trying to kill me? All right. Filter, Liquify. I had Cheerios. It was really weird having Cheerios. Alright, so, I mean, like, to say that I haven't had Cheerios in a very long time. That's why it was weird. Okay, so what we see here, just around here, you added a shadow. Just a shadow under her cheek connecting to her mouth. But when we look at the cross-section version of that, right along here, you don't have that shadow. Meaning you don't have that bump inward. So when we do a really strong cheek, we're defining that cheek with the highlight. When we do a really indented inner cheek, we indent it in. We get that cheek to be a little bit closer, because this shadow is a response to the fact that it is a cavity. So when we're seeing the mountain from the side versus seeing the mountain from top view, this is from the side and this is from top view. So that's really what her face is doing right now. It's indenting inward, meaning the silhouette of her face wasn't responding to the shadows you chose on the inside of the outline. The chin is also just a little bit strong, and again, it doesn't really respond to any of the shadows you chose. So I feel like there should be a little indentation inward. What the heck? Colon, exclamation mark, number, colon. What the fuck was I thinking? But I have I've chosen like the last cut, like the final suggestions. I've already decided on the final topics for the poll. Sorry, but if you do have suggestions for the poll, you can comment on that post that I made on the Google community, or you can post your comments on at the end of this video, at the end of this stream. and I'll see about adding it to the poll. Right now I have 4 choices, but if you want more than 4 choices, if you want yours, if your idea pitched in there, people might just vote for it. So remember to remind me to ask you guys about the poll. If I don't, it'll be unfortunate. Right, so before, after, before, after. So the face silhouette that you had nothing to do with the face. It felt like the face wasn't a part of the decision that you made around the silhouette of the face. The outline had nothing to do with what was in the outline. It's essentially what I'm saying. So what I'm going to do next is just bring in that shadow. There is a universal light source. Yes, this is secondary. It's not the main. There's another light source here that's bringing all these whites in. And so that's what I'm going to use right now to make that happen. So please remember that the outline is a response to the shadows chosen inside the painting. Right, so I'm just continuing over here, responding to that primary light source, sculpting some more. And then this light source right here, what's happened is that this primary light source isn't that strong. So I'm doing this in a new layer, and what that's going to do, once I darken that, I'll be able to go back. Here, let me see if I can do this properly. I'll be able to go back and erase at all the areas where the secondary light source is reaching. Oh no, I'm gonna sneeze. Oh good God, no, please. All right, one sec. Oh God, I hope that mute worked. Okay, all right. So I'm just erasing away at all those places where we did have some of that secondary light source. And that secondary light source shouldn't just sit there as illuminated. It should sit there as warm as well, because the light source color is warm. The light source gives off its brightness and its color. So with a color layer, I'm just brushing this over everything that the light touches. And there's just going to be a yellowness and a brightness to it. And you didn't have enough of that. You didn't have enough of that over here. Let me just brighten that just a little. Okay. So these are some of the changes just from now, just how it looks. Okay. So before it was too bright, too much brightness was reaching that face. The face wasn't following the light source of the primary properly. So we darkened that. As well as the fact that the outline of the face wasn't matching the choices inside the outline. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is shrink the head, possibly shrink the head, enlarge the arm, or thicken the arm. The body looks very adolescent compared to the head. I'm also going to get this old highlighter color and just keep responding to that primary. The primary light source is why we can see her. The primary is why there's light on her. Maybe it's a faraway torch, maybe it's a torch above her. But I need to constantly reinforce that primary light source. That's the reason why we're seeing this character. I feel like you made your primary reference from the bottom instead of from the top. And you brought another light from the bottom, which is the salamander. So you're having two light sources from the bottom affect the face. But you painted the eyes and the light on the eyes and light on the hair as if the light was coming from above. Okay, and then I'm just going to complete it. So I'm just sharpening the upper lip. On the lower lip, this is one lip. I'm sorry I'm not looking at the comment section. I will look at it in just a second. Let me pop out the chat so I can see it closer. This lip is in front of everything else, so it gets a nice sharp edge. Antares, I'll take a look at the scans and get back to you. Antares, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. You can find it on the Istebrak's channel. Super duper, go in the Google community. It's a fire lizard. Alright, I'm looking away from the comment section now. So, before, do you see what I mean by that whole toddler head size? And after. Okay, So what else would I change? I would bring in a stronger glow. This is a light source. So I would bring in a stronger glow for the salamander. I'm using just a basic dodge tool. I'm not using it everywhere, just in select areas where there's a lot of traffic, either a joint or like some other limb. So remember, detail relief, we don't want to overwhelm our viewer. And because of that, because every light source glows, we have to have that light. So we go on soft light layer and just throw that. That's really important. That's what people forget to do. They forget to include this glow. That's what makes it look fiery. And this exact glow, remember how I taught you guys on skin tones to grab the white yellow of the sunlight and throw it on the face? We grab this yellow light source and throw it on anything nearby. It's actually going to be warmer when it hits the skin. Alright, so anything on the inside, anything that the light is revealing that would otherwise be in shadow is actually going to be revealed with a yellow tone. Okay, and just around this finger, we're going to have some subsurface scattering. Just over here. And that would probably be it, maybe a little bit over here. That kind of goes along the edge of the finger. Alright, so before, after. Now it's behaving like a light source. It's actually glowing. It's throwing its color on the surface of the face. You didn't have any of that yellow on the face. It was all just monochromatic purple. Now you have a little bit more. And I wouldn't darken this half, but I would darken more along this way. But really you're supposed to be darkening along the secondary light source so that the glow actually has an effect. Like this is supposed to be in a dark area. If I was showing off my fire skills, I would do it in a dark room so you could actually see the glow, or at least cinematically present it in a dark room. This is dark, just maybe not dark enough on this lower half. Okay. Alright, so let's take a look at something else. Another example of a small head or off head sizes, and I think we should do a video on head sizes. Just a whole day on them. So usually what I do that gives off the problem right away if I don't have anyone to critique me is I just completely like remove the head. I step away from the canvas for a good 10 minutes. I come back and let's just wait 10 seconds, all right? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Imagine this head size right now. Not always where it used to be, but just where you think it should go, considering the breast size and the hip size. And then we turn that off. See what just happened? You can see it right away after that. All you gotta do if you can't figure out the head size or it's feeling off is either zoom out or step away from the canvas and then just reintroduce yourself to the problem. You almost always see it. I see it right away because I'm seeing these portraits every day and these paintings every day, so I'll see it right away. Because I'm just a genius. But for those of you who don't have access to an amazing teacher all the time, you might want to try this trick. Okay. So just give it. Stop yelling. Oh my god. Yes, way too small. And the reason why, can anyone tell me what was the first thing I fixed and why did I fix it and why is it the reason why it's small? Right? So so what was the first thing I fixed? If you're on YouTube, just write it as a comment. Don't feel shy if you're on YouTube and you want to make comments or write stuff back to me on YouTube. You feel free to. Trust me, no one is going to judge you. I would love to see people write stuff back to me on YouTube as well. I'm so going to use that technique. Yeah, it's just like the best way to just stop your brain from seeing stuff and giving you excuses and telling you it's okay and letting your brain trick you and give you illusions and mirages and tunnel vision. And when you break that and you let your brain see it again, it's like you're telling your brain, hey, you were wrong this whole time. And your brain's like, oh yeah, I was, damn. The canvas size, exactly. The canvas size was tiny. It was like she was stuck under there and she was growing, and then And then she just didn't grow into the canvas because it was just too short on her. It was too low. So another problem is the leg. Alright, so use that trick whenever, you know, you feel like something's off and you can't figure out what. Right, hide that part, step away, and then reveal it again, and you'll know right away. It'll hit you. It'll hit you for like 2 seconds, and then it'll disappear. But just for those 2 seconds, focus. Try to see exactly what your brain is telling you. Okay, so this leg needs to be smaller. And it's on the floor, is it not? So that means that it's going to be doing a little bit of that. So if I flatten it, it's really not matching the face. So this leg, how large it is, let's just do something real quick. Let's straighten this leg out. Start it from this hip to this hip. This leg, though tilted, looks fatter than this one. And even if I raise that foot up, just up this way, it just feels humongous. It feels really large compared to the other leg. It feels like a whole different person. It's like a bulkier girl and a skinnier girl. So what you gotta do, it's just a couple of things. First of all, when we're standing like this, usually this leg is straighter. It's right under the hips. That's just a little bit forced. Proportions are just a little bit forced and uncomfortable. I guess this is where I would place that leg. And now they do feel like they're the same leg. They belong to the same person. And then right along here, I would just fix that so it looks like she's on the floor. That she's basing her leg on the floor. And then I would just fill this whole place up. But I think you guys are gonna like the themes for next month. They're really fun. They're really colorful. There's gonna be a lot of color in them, and it has a couple of creature in it and 1 character design. I think it has 2 character design. I can't remember. But I'm kind of preparing myself to make a resource pack for the 4 that I chose. But again, if you guys want to have an extra topic or 2, remember, please remind me to run the poll again. Not to run the poll, to just ask you guys again at the end of the stream what you want to see for this hand is just a little bit off, this whole arm. I feel like I want to enlarge the head 1 more time. Her neck is so sculpted and so very detailed, and we just preserve these for a manly man. We don't leave them for a really feminine looking female. When women have large breasts, the fat is everywhere. The fat is even on the collarbones. You don't get those pencil thin collarbones anymore when you have double D's. You have fat around your what is it called again? The lateral area? I'm not sure. You have fat around your stomach more. It's just the kind of body that you have. When you have large breasts, there's fat to compensate for it. You don't just have a skinny body and humongous breasts. It's just a body type. Usually a larger body type, a thicker body type has the really large breast and the wide hip. So that means that we don't get that bony stick figure 110 pounds, 100 pound collarbone. We get something that's a little bit more full. And that means that a lot of these bones get curved off and they don't capture the light the way they do. A fat packed on something bony curves its edges, meaning that it doesn't have those tiny little edgework, that paintbrush edges anymore. I don't know how to talk anymore, guys. It's over. Alright, so the nose needs to be a little bit bigger. The mouth is a little bit off. Since you've already curved up the eyebrow, I would just leave this part of the eyebrow alone. And she wouldn't really be showing her bottom teeth. I feel like her bottom teeth would be hidden because they're trying to prop up the leaf. This time goddess, Tina the time sorcerer. The upper teeth would show, but I feel like the bottom teeth wouldn't show so much. And I've talked about this a lot already. Probably sick of it, but please blur around the eyebrows. Much. Don't let those eyebrows look like Sharpie, drawn in Sharpie brows. Yeah, when I go to Canada, I'm going to go to an aquarium for the first time in my life. I've never been to like a full aquarium. Of course, I've been to zoos, many zoos, and I've seen, you know, their collections, but I've never been to one that has sharks and manta ray, I think that's what they're called, and those really, really tropical fish. So I can't wait. It's going to be so fun. I'm going to bring my sketchbook. I don't know. I've been waiting for a vacation for so long. I feel like it's finally due. Just depends on what I do with my back, though. Driving long distances is really difficult. This has been another entry of Istebrak's journal. Tune in next week for my discussion on my crush. Reveal to you all about my high school crush. What the fuck am I talking about? I have to edit all this out eventually. Why am I making my life so hard? Future me is gonna hate right now. Right now me. Alright. So I fixed up the eyebrows just a little bit so they feel a little less, I mean a lot less sharpied. More natural, more seamed in. Do you like to draw at the zoo? Yeah, I love drawing at the zoo. Love it, love it. Okay, so before. Okie dokie. After. So we have a little bit more of a, kind of like a balanced here. I think I changed the canvas size. So that means it was a little bit more like, there we go. Before, after. So now the head seems humongous compared to the before, but that's just not because we made the head too big, because look at the hands and the feet. No, this is because the before was so deviated. Okay. I would push this leg inward a little bit more. I would push it inside because I feel like she's about to fall over. I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to just do it to check. And that's something you can always do. If you're not sure, just do it anyway and figure it out. See if that's what it needed. Don't be like, you know, I'm not going to make a move until I know 100% sure this is the mistake I've made. Try it anyway. It might reveal to you something else that you would never have figured out on your own. I mean, it's great being a part of a community, but it's really strong and really helpful for you when you find ways to educate yourself, to be able to figure this stuff out with your own eye and then guide others because you strengthened your own inner eye that way. All right, so before, after. Breast size and head size compared to the body length, I feel like the head is still a little bit too small. I don't know, the shoulders are really just throwing me off as well. This is why you should sketch stuff out before you try to render it fully. You did such a wonderful job around the dress. Really great values. The background could be a little bit brighter. Might help along the light environment. The shoulder would slack actually much more. This arm is just a little bit off. It's too long. We would see the hand by now. We'd see the thumb. Just around there, we'd see the wrist. It would hide behind the rest of the body. I just feel like you really took your time with the breasts, but the rest of the body and the rest of everything didn't make sense to you. Clearly you're a boobs man. You're a boobs guy. I'm joking, I don't mean to tease you. Okay, so a little bit more relaxed with the shoulders. But I hope this helps. I really like what you did with the clock. I like how it's not just facing the camera, but a little tilted. I like this character. It's a cool character. Definitely pinup. So you can, there's no shame in pinup. It's just boobs. That's what you need for pinup. But you still need references. You can't exaggerate in pinup. You can't exaggerate hip size and breast size and thigh size and lip size. You can make her a doll. But just make sure that it's proportionate. That's all we're asking of you. If you want to draw Barbies for the rest of your life, draw them. Just don't let them get stiff and don't let them feel flat. And I don't mean breast-wise. Okay. So I'm just brightening that up just to show you. There's so much saturation on this character that the dark background just did not match. Remember, even with character designs, you still need to match the background in. After that, I would bring in a universal light source. I've done this before to previous character designers. A lot of you forget that the light environment is the two parts of that, two important parts of that are the background and the light source. So one thing that I changed was the background. Another thing I'm going to change is bring in a universal light source. It's a little bit more yellow. I don't think they were elongated for the sexiness. Now they are still quite long. Yeah, you still had some more leftover problems with that. But I think the general issues, the biggest issue was the head size and just figuring out that the kind of tilt, using multiple references for the body and then leaving the head you painted without reference is going to show. It's going to show you didn't use a reference for the head. It looked accidental extreme perspective to me, Rosa. You're too hard on yourself. Nah, it's okay. I like being a perfectionist. Istebrak, do you ever use a mixer brush in Photoshop instead of the smudge tool? Is there a difference between them? I'm sorry for asking an off-topic question. It's okay, Livy. I've never used I never use the smudge, the mixer brush. I've messed around with it, but I don't use it. The reason why is because it brings in color. I think you can turn off the color. I'm not sure how. I wouldn't even know how to advise you around it. Oh, shit. Clean brush. So you can like click it on clean, I guess. And that means that it's not bringing in any color. That was the biggest danger with mixer brush. If you can combine it, like you can get the brushes and combine it with any of these tools if applicable, I'm sure you can choose a brush to use on the mixer brush. Just make sure that it's a scatter brush as well. Some of those brushes that I released, if you watch the video, are really strong. So be careful with those. They are unbelievably strong and they will throw you off. Excuse me. Can you make an updated video on colors? Please, number exclamation mark. Eduardo. Okay, sure. Yeah. Anything for you, Eduardo. Exclamation. Oh man. Color video. Okay, so I made a note of that. Sorry, kind of a strange question, but I noticed your brush cursors are very thick. Is that a preference you can edit in Photoshop, or is that just something to do for them? I don't intentionally do it silent. The Open Broadcaster does it. I just see it as a small little brush. What you see on your monitors is what I see for my brushes. What do you look for in amazing notes? Thorough, organized topics, everything, all the major bullets that I've mentioned, anything that I ask you guys to write back to me. I'm not just here, you know, wanting to like hear an echo and just boost my ego. I really want to hear those written back to me, because if you say them, if you write them, that's one form of memorization, and it helps you retain the information a little better. Where can I learn more about light environment? Istebrak is so far the only one who speaks about it. I think I am the only one who speaks about it. I'm not sure how other artists refer to it. But if you just go to my videos and you click on search environment, I think I have a couple here. Really, really recent ones that talk about light environment. Haha, back when I didn't have thumbnails. Alright, let's see what other questions y'all have for me. Does the smudge brush editing exist on the newest Photoshop version? Smudge brush editing? What does that mean? Can we use alternatives to Photoshop instead of it? I'm too young to use PayPal and don't want to pirate it. I really don't know how to recommend other because I'm so wound into Photoshop. I'm not sure how to teach you or how to direct you with other painting softwares. But what you can do is go to CritiqueHour, the community, and you can ask some questions there. I'm sure many people have a lot of suggestions for you. Holy shit. Okay. I started playing a song. Alright. How do you make a character more interesting, story and design-wise? We've covered that in a lot of the challenges. You just got to look through the the history of my videos. We've dedicated entire like weeks just to designing a character to make it look more interesting. The villain, the witch's hovel, the adventure fellowship, these are all different challenges we've had in the past, and the critique hours that came after those challenges cover all of those notes. Plus there's people who have posted notes cactus on the community. You just have to go to the class notes category, and there's notes from back when we did those challenges, and they are full of information on how to make a character look more interesting. Soft light. Alright, so we're building up radially. You do have a bit of a problem right now with the outlines. You have lines. Why? Why are there lines? So I'm just adding these highlights here. Make a quick note. Okay. I think Discord is giving me, okay, never mind. What this is doing is just bringing in an environment color. It's a little bit more involved. I feel like you wanted to stay with these two shades, but this is just a suggestion. And just take a look at that. Even if it's not shiny, and I think it's supposed to be, it's a silk dress. These dresses are usually silk. It's just bringing a little bit more intrigue, and you have to start getting rid of those lines. You really don't need them. All you need are just the edges, just the background starting as soon as the thigh is done. That's it. You have to just trust that it'll work. But right now the face does look a little bit flat, but these are my suggestions for the presentation at least. You need to figure out how to get it to be a little bit more active, light environment wise. This is too dark for a concept. I know you tried to make the background match her and you just chose the one that worked best in your opinion. But when you don't know, just make it a basic neutral gray background. It's not about the background right now. Even though the background is lightened to reinforce this value on her skin tones, we would rather have that than we would have like an odd purple shade in the background that's throwing off the colors you chose. Okay, so this one has a couple of issues with it, and it's just to do with the shadows. It's beautiful though. I love it. I love everything about it. I'm just going to desaturate all the shadows and just show you that most of these shadows are a little too saturated. And especially because he's reflective, so we would get this color on this shadowed area first before we would get like a dark orange. And this is a really, really illuminated scene. It's under a lot of light source. And then what we illuminate is anything that the light is touching. And he is very reflective, so you need to start bringing in these reflections. Anywhere where we have just like real exposure to the light source. Beautiful job though. I just want to know what's wrong, what's happened to this character. I'm so intrigued by the narrative. Okay, I am going to saturate all the way around every shadow. Just around here. The edge of this. What that's going to do is make these feel like more colossal shadows and kind of reinforce that saturation belt a little better. I think though the problem here with the canvas is that you should have done thumbnails. The reason why we do thumbnails is so we can make these decisions early on without having to render and then see if we can fix them with Liquify, because Liquify isn't going to fix a camera problem. What I would have loved to see is if the character, you know, if anyone's ever seen Iron Giant, they use a lot of worm's eye view in there because it's an Iron Giant. They're trying to show it off as a giant. So what you should have done is use the perspective that was a little bit more colossal, meaning the camera is much lower than the character. Or maybe he's like tilted like that. Okay, so when they're climbing, it really does feel like they're climbing a massive thing. But they're climbing this humongous thing, but to us he feels so small, like he's just a buddy over there lying against a rock and we're his size. That's where we would be eye level with him. We want it so that his head is just massive and it's just hidden underneath or hidden behind his torso because he's so low. and his leg is just colossal. It's just in the way, and we're just tiny little people looking up at him, and then you frame it. So doing thumbnails lets you experiment with different camera angles. And if you don't experiment with camera angles and you find that the camera angle is a massive problem 10 hours into the render, you can't just go into Liquify and rearrange some shit so that it looks like the camera angle is everything. It's everything you've painted, you have to repaint it. So this is a beautifully done scene, but it feels very small. It doesn't feel like this guy really is, you know, in awe of this thing they just found. He needs to feel large. There's a bunch of children climbing him like a jungle gym. To a child looking up at a jungle gym, it's humongous. It feels like a mountain. And so that's what we want to reinforce. If you're a good storyteller, you'll paint the robot through the children's eyes. So his perspective, the camera on him, the camera on him. Where would the horizon line be? It would be much higher, or much lower, sorry. Okay, so just a couple of, I think you were too saturated along the shadows. I would bring in some of this reflection here, just the rock. The clouds are just a little bit flat considering you went full render over here and then you went for some clip art. Cut out clouds. You could have gone for something a little bit more realistic. And the clouds feel very flat, so what I recommend you do is more of like a stratus cloud, kind of showing off the dome of the sky. That would feel a little bit more realistic, so you have clouds doing that. That'll kind of add to the activity. Maybe not that exact outline I made. Maybe look up a reference, of course. They just don't just sit like that facing the camera perfectly. Okay, so those are my suggestions for today. I really do apologize for the rushed classes. I'm not sure what recovery is going to look like. I'm not sure what results I'm going to get. If I do end up having to go through surgery or any kind of corrective surgery for my problem, I might have to take a whole month off of any teaching. I'll let you guys know right away. But just to announce it, from the 30th to the 6th, I won't be hosting any classes. I'll be out of the country on vacation, so I won't be able to, I won't be there for the 2nd and the 3rd, and the 4th. So I'll release the poll sometime tonight, and so depending on what you guys recommend. So yeah, add your recommendations now for the poll if you have any. But yes, I've decided on 4. I could push it to 8 choices if everyone wants to vote on 8. I think 4 is a little bit limited, especially if I'm giving you 3.5 weeks to complete the painting. You probably want to have a little bit more choice in what you're going to be working on for 3.5 weeks, for any of those who want to participate in the challenges anyway. But if they are posted, don't worry, don't panic. I do post them and pin them on the community. To find the community, just go to istebrak.com and click on the Google Plus icon. I pin them right here. But yeah, if you can buy them and you haven't bought them yet, if you're interested in my smudge brushes or any other brushes that I've released, all of them are available on my website. And if you can't pay with card, you have to pay with PayPal, you can use Selfie and you can just click here. But that's it. I will see you guys next week, Tuesday, the 25th. Thank you everyone for coming. And just keep adding your suggestions, and I'll add them to the, let me open the chat. Yes. So go ahead and add your suggestions, and I'll read through them. Bye guys.